It's time to start the only way we know how.
Beat by DJ Stones.
Welcome to the Old Fashioned Three. They've been around basketball from the Big Dipper to the Greek Freak, from Russell Celtics to Curry's Warriors, from Peach Baskets to Paolo Banchero. Here are Whitey Gleason, Phantom, and Jerry Reynolds.
Yes, that was that cat, all right.
How are you guys doing? I worry about you both, especially because
Yes.
you, more than most people, are really feeling the pressure that comes with our national nightmare. LeBron James announcing that he's considering retirement. I know I talked to you about it. I did a wellness check on Jerry yesterday. I think he's holding up okay. But you still doing all right with all this?
Well, I'm a little concerned that LeBron's probably not going the Pump Rules show.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
Fit right in on that.
Yeah, with the other old gossipy women.
Yeah, Vanderpump had a bad series too against
Well,
them.
yeah. Tom Sandoval did not play well.
As the LeBron turns.
Yeah,
kind
right.
of thing. And
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say it was brought a tear to my eye. Really saying, please retire and
Yeah.
So that's your reaction? Go ahead, LeBron. Yeah, if you're
and,
thinking about it, you might as well do it.
Yeah, and take Anthony Davis with you. And all the Lakers, but I know they're not going to because they can still play really well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
LeBron,
You don't usually retire after you drop 40.
No, and
I don't know. I've never dropped 40, but
And as he said, rightly so, he said, well, I still think I'm in the top 95% of the league. And it's like, yeah, you clearly are.
So that's a great time to retire.
Yeah,
then.
See,
I
I
mean,
thought
now-
that was interesting too, that he acknowledged I'm not the best player anymore. For him to acknowledge, and he's right, and give him credit for it, but for him to say I'm still better than 90 or 95%, I think that was really interesting to me that he acknowledged that.
Well, that led me to believe also that his, agenda setting. I think the whole thing was just, don't look over here at the fact we just lost. Look over here, I might retire, and just taking all the attention off what the real story was, and kind of taking attention off of Denver. Although I don't really buy that narrative as much as, oh, you're disrespecting Denver because we're not talking about Denver. I think he's just kind of didn't want people to ask him what was wrong with his team as much, and so he's like making it all about I'm going to retire, I'm thinking of retiring and all that, when that's obviously ludicrous. There's no way he's going to retire. So I just thought that he was kind of shifting the blame or the blame off his teammates or whatever it is. So I just thought that was kind of deceitful in a way, and he wasn't really addressing.
Disingenuous,
Yes,
maybe?
he wasn't really addressing the issue, which is like, how come you guys lost? You just got swept. What's up? What's going on? Well, I might retire. So yeah, that's something I'm thinking.
Well,
about.
I mean, there again, it's like when the season started, who thought they'd be in the Western Finals, number one. So they had a remarkable year. I hate to say that. Darvin Ham did a marvelous job.
Yes.
There's a lot. There are mostly positives, except getting swept. But I think it's a simpler. To me, I don't attach much to it other than LeBron needs all the attention. He's one of those guys that sucks all the attention out of the room. He's been the guy since he's 16 years old. The high school player of the year is a sophomore, for goodness sakes, not since Jabbar
Just
or
Lou.
Lou
Yeah,
Alcindor
Lou, yeah.
was anything like that we've seen. And so I think he's just used to, obviously the press conference is about
Yep.
moi.
Yeah. You would know better than I, but I agree with you, and I think that's why there's no chance he retires. I can't imagine LeBron, unless, something physically kept him from playing. But other than that, I can't imagine him retiring without going through hey, this is my last year. I want to give everyone a chance to bow down to me.
do the
He would
tour.
never pass up that opportunity.
No, I mean, to me, he's like, I mean, not many guys go out completely on top like a John Elway and a few guys like that.
Michael Jordan the first time.
First time, but then not so much the second.
R.I.P. Jim Brown.
But he's certainly not one of those guys like Kobe and some others. That there's no way he can adjust to a secondary role. He might adjust to not having the ball in his hands for all 40 minutes.
He ain't Vince Carter, in other words.
No, exactly. Where Vince could adjust to being on the roster and a roster guy, a rotation guy, then just a roster guy. But Vince really was a unique.
Because he wanted to play. He
wanted to be part of stuff. And, I guess it could happen, but I believe there's a better chance that LeBron will move to some up front kind of position somewhere somehow, more like a Magic kind of out there all the time.
I think LeBron is one of those guys who announces he's going to retire so he can take the tour. Take the Kareem tour, and everybody give him a rocking chair and stuff. I think LeBron wants to go around and get presents.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
everybody.
He would love that.
Yeah, so he's not going to go play a game and then I'm retiring now.
I
so
agree.
he's going to. I want to get my flowers, and deservedly so. He's one of the greatest that's ever done it. But I don't think he passes up on that little nugget, and I don't think he's ready to do that for a year or two. Anyway.
And plus, there's this. I think you were a really good golfer. I don't know if you play anymore. And you, I think, struggled with the game like I do.
Oh, it is well past struggling.
Yeah, I know. I can relate.
Struggling
so
in the rear
I know
view.
how many times you play golf and you're really frustrated, as you know he was, and you're like, when you're frustrated, it's out of your control, and you say, I'm just going to quit. You don't quit golf, but, you feel like, that's it. I'm done. And I wonder if some of it was that. It's like, I'm done with this because he was so frustrated.
Oh, he has a lot of pride, and like as Phantom pointed out, they did get swept. And, I think in his mind going into the series, he thought they could win. Because that's who he is. A great
and
player.
He should.
And they played some close games.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, I think he's a guy, like he said, and I think it's true. I think he plays for championships. And so what most of the guys on the Lakers felt wouldn't have been the same thing he felt, because a lot of them are just happy to be playing and playing late into playoffs.
Yeah, like about 75% of them, Max, besides him and Anthony Davis.
There's nobody on the Kings really frustrated like that because they didn't, they wanted to win the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, they wanted to win, but they weren't expecting to play for a championship either.
They're disappointed they lost, but they're not packing it all in because they didn't move on.
Yeah. By the way, I saw something interesting. I think it was more or less a report, a little shaky as far as the sourcing, but a report that LeBron's not a big D'Angelo Russell fan anymore after the last series.
Yeah.
And, he was playing so well, and I think we talked about, wow, he's playing well. And he was ineffective. The Nuggets guards destroyed
one of the first two games, I think he was minus 25. So, I know plus minus, but 25 is a big number.
But,
D'Angelo, one of those guys, he's going to get a job in the league, but it's not going to be at the pay that he's used to. And I think that ship sailed of he's an all-star player. No, he's not.
Right.
And,
he's a role player, but as we talked about before, he's one of those guys that on any single given night can put 40 up there.
Oh, he can because
he's
and
he's going to take the shots.
If you can find a defender, really a poor defender, and get him matched up on, it takes a poor defender.
Yeah, but you still have to be able to make the shots.
Yeah, no, he's a shot maker if he can get shots.
Right, yeah.
He's one of those guys that can't always get shots.
Right, and to the detriment of the team sometimes when he's out hunting for those shots.
Yes.
I got to call out, I know he's one of your favorites, Colin Cowherd, for what he said about LeBron and the Warriors. Kevin O'Connor in The Ringer, I wrote it down, I have it here. Kevin O'Connor in The Ringer wrote, Tuesday I think it was, he said, interest between LeBron and the Warriors could be mutual. That's what he said. He didn't say it was. He said interest in LeBron and the Warriors could be mutual. Well, so Colin Cowherd said, maybe yesterday, he said, Kevin O'Connor in The Ringer reports this is something people are talking about. LeBron to the Warriors. It's like, that's
what he does.
That's not what he said.
He does the old people are saying, and that way he can construct an
Then he went on
argument.
and proposed, what was the trade he proposed? I think it was
Kuminga,
Kuminga, Poole, and
Draymond
Wiggins.
Wiggins, yeah.
For LeBron.
Yeah. And then he became enamored of his own trade, and so he kept talking it up, and all of a sudden people were talking about it. So
Yeah.
then it gets to another level.
Yeah,
Let's
I
close
understand
talk
that's what he has
radio.
to do. Is fun,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that's one of the
exactly
more ridiculous proposals. I
Oh,
think.
and Colin is, and the NBA, Colin, if you're watching, my God, get somebody on there who knows something about it. Because
and you like it, right?
yeah. When it comes to football, I mean,
yeah.
Colin, stick to quarterbacks,
Yeah.
stick to NFL
quarterback.
football.
Make another quarterback
I mean, he's
list.
terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's great on that kind of NFL. NBA, he's not. It's a joke. You know, it's an absolute. You know, he should be on some of those Bill Simmons kind of thing, or the guys throws out. Yeah, just on the premise. Okay, there may be interest, or LeBron may be.
Yeah.
LeBron isn't the general manager and president of the Lakers.
No, he's not. He's
So
not.
yeah,
Well,
and he's not. And he doesn't control what the Warriors want to do either.
No, although who does is an open
Well,
question right now. But that's not the point.
That may there may not be.
Yeah.
any.
On Coward.
Maybe he can just go
Yeah.
up there and sign up, put
Yeah.
himself in the, but that doesn't make any sense.
Somebody.
at all.
Oh, I can't remember who. Oh, it was Nick Wright.
Nick Wright.
His proposal was LeBron to the Warriors for Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and Moses Moody. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like that's one of those. Is like, are you a fanboy of the Warriors?
Yeah,
really.
When,
Why?
Gary, when football's not going on, you need content.
Yeah.
And one way for content is make up trades and then have everybody else on your network comment on the, that might work. I don't
Well,
know. Yeah.
but
and then all of a
even-
sudden people are talking.
But it's like I do a podcast with the King's Herald.
Yes.
Very
good.
A very
Yes,
good
absolutely.
fan
Yeah,
site.
One of the best two podcasts you do.
Well, it's in there. But anyway, I mean, it's a independent fan site.
Sure.
But the point I'm trying to make is, as much as they love the Kings and are biased toward the Kings, they would never come up with something that stupid.
Right. Leave that to me,
Yeah,
which I'm going to do now. Because
Here we
Colin
go.
Coward said with that trade about Wiggins, and he said it works. And I think what he meant is if you go to the ESPN trade machine, it works.
Yeah.
Right?
So
but that doesn't
under
mean
the
anything.
confines of a
And I'm going to
trade,
prove
yeah,
that.
yeah.
This trade works, okay? You
Okay.
go to the trade machine, this trade works.
Okay.
LeBron James.
Right.
To the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, okay.
Yes. For Kevin Herter, Harrison Barnes, and Rashawn Holmes. It works.
It works.
And
It works, and I'm for it.
People are talking about it. We're talking about
we're
it. So
talking
good.
about it.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Good. Be a good-
There
Money,
you go.
money, get it done.
Well, now I need to see the Kings starting a lineup with LeBron in it, because that's usually the next step. Well, what would the Kings do? Okay, well, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis.
Well, they may have to change.
I'm gonna change a little bit. We got still, Murray would still be in there, and then you plug
No,
LeBron
it's-
in there.
And Mike Brown already coached LeBron, so I don't
so
see a problem.
everything
there.
works.
It works.
Oh,
it
man,
works.
does it
So,
work.
My goodness.
And now the headline is "Trade Works."
Yeah. In all honesty, or all kidding aside, how do the Lakers get beyond the fact, Jer, going forward, that their two mainstays, absolute pillars, are, LeBron, AD, as you said, wow, phenomenal. They're both older. They're both brittle. They're both, aging. How do they deal with that?
Well, I think they just, their window is just about shut. But you either shut it and do, move off of one of them,
Or make
try,
the best of it, yeah.
or make the best for another year. And I think that's what they'll do. The problem they've got maybe is, it's guys like Austin Reeves. Can they keep him?
And Rui, too.
And
Yeah,
Rui
yeah.
Hachimura and Vanderbilt. I mean, I think
Yeah.
they've got some serious issues there of just what they're going to do to keep some key guys. The other two are under contract, I think. I mean, I think Davis still has another year, but I'm not sure. But so they've got some real
I think
issues
so.
just to get the boys in the band one more run at it.
Okay, what do you guys think of this? And this is from,
Does it work?
and I forget his name. I apologize. He's the Laker writer for The Athletic. So this is not somebody
Okay.
who's just trying to get people excited. He reported Tuesday maybe the Lakers are looking into the possibility of acquiring Trae Young.
Oh, yeah, I've read that.
Yeah. Now this
Boy,
again,
that'd
this
be
is from
great.
a guy that's not just out there throwing out nonsense. But I looked at that. I said, well, I bet that won't last long because I don't see how that would really help them. Am I missing something?
Was that an offshoot? Because I had heard some talk about that in reference to, because they were obviously targeting, or somebody's targeting Kyrie Irving for them. Because they say, well, Kyrie Irving, because we talked about that as far as last year about Kyrie Irving eventually ending up on the Lakers, and I think maybe Trae Young was kind of like not as far as Kyrie Irving, but Trae Young would be a guy who would make more sense than Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, how would that be one of the guys that I'm not saying not one of your favorites on your least favorite team? That would be fantastic for you.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, I thought so. Put him right out there.
I mean, and really, and Trae is terrific. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I mean, he really is, and a team that can play defense behind him a little better would help him. I can see why the Lakers should be interested in
Think
him.
about doing that.
I mean,
yeah.
he's talent, and probably if there's anywhere where he would, if LeBron's there, he's going to fit in. Yeah, and then if I'm
Needs
the
the
Lakers,
ball a lot, and that.
he does.
Yeah.
But if there's ever a place that has to have a superstar on a regular basis, it's L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And then they could prop him up. And now how they get him, and of course right away Atlanta come out and said we're not trading Trae Young. I do think that it seemed like that Quinn Snyder came in there and calmed things down a little bit, and I thought he played very well in the playoffs.
I bet they could get John Collins.
Is he
You
available?
think?
I don't
know if
that
he's
he's available
available.
this century. But you mentioned about Davis and LeBron. What do you do because they're older? You have that youth infusion, which is Austin Reeves and Hachimura, and that makes it even worse because now you do have to save them because not only do you want younger players, but those are the guys who really brought out, I think, the best, especially Reeves. The amount of respect he gets on the floor from the other players to me is amazing for an undrafted player. I mean, you can see that guys look for him to move the ball up court and stuff. They look for Reeves to get it into his hands. That's incredible for a guy that was undrafted.
Austin Rivers was on a podcast this week, and he said, Austin Reeves is great. He's better than Jordan Poole, even though Jordan Poole is way more talented. And I don't think he is way more talented.
No, he's more athletic, but he's
Yeah.
not more talented. I mean,
Yeah.
Austin Reeves is a skilled, highly skilled basketball player
Yeah.
that plays within his skills.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Poole's a pop gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what he does is integral to a team success.
Yeah.
It fits more into a team concept, I think, than Poole sometimes has to exist outside.
Poole's kind of reckless sometimes.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
Poole. I mean, you put Poole at Houston, and Jalen Green ain't there. He's a 25-point
Yep.
a game scorer.
Yep.
And they win 18 games.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and that's
On
who
your
he
favorite 23 shots, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
is. That's who he is.
Who are the Denver Nuggets, and are you buying into the notion that they're being disrespected? I mean, they win, they go to the finals for the first time, and everyone's talking about LeBron, and they don't get the respect they deserve. Is there anything to that? Does it matter?
I think probably at this point they like that. I mean, if you're under the radar all the way to the NBA Finals, and even when you win the conference finals, people aren't talking about you, so you just get to go chill 5,000 feet above sea level, I think that's perfect for them. And they have a guy at the core in Jokic who doesn't seem to really care about the attention. I mean, he sat out a lot in the last month of the season, so he, in effect, didn't have a chance at the MVP award, which obviously doesn't make that much difference to him. So he doesn't need the attention. And the other guys, like a Michael Porter, we've talked about a bunch of times, he's had enough attention. He just needs to go out and play ball. So I think it works perfectly for Denver. I don't think they care anything about that.
I don't think they do either, and I think but it always amazes me, and so many people, watching the playoffs, some of the national people saying, "Boy, I didn't know Jokic was that good." Do you not watch basketball?
Yeah.
You're supposed to know
think
that.
Lisa Salters is terrific, but I think she said in the last game, like,
yeah.
I haven't really seen him play that much.
It's
Well,
like
Jerry, they're
he's
national
MVP
guys.
the
They
last
don't need
2
to watch
years.
Denver. We got that a lot back in the
Yeah,
day.
oh, I know.
Well, by the time the national narrative got up to where the Kings were, it was 2 weeks later.
No.
I mean, it happens all the time.
it happens all the time, but that doesn't make it right.
Not saying it is, Jer.
I mean, but it really is one of those things. Is like, well, why don't you know? Obviously, they had the best record in the West.
Yep.
All year long, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Why didn't you know about Jokic? He has been the MVP twice.
He's been on the same
so,
team. Easy to find.
I haven't
and
seen
then
him play.
the whole thing all year long was he's probably playing better than he ever has, and people giving all kinds of reasons why he shouldn't be MVP.
Yeah.
and Embiid
Yeah.
and Embiid should, based on actually less success for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing. He's really a guy who has to be. You have to watch him to really get an eye. You can't do it from the box score. It
No.
really doesn't tell the whole story. You have to watch him to see the effect he has on the game to really appreciate it.
No,
that-
he's a one of one. I mean, there's never been a 5-man like him.
Right.
There've
He's
been
like
some
a
that-
point center.
Yeah, I mean, the Waltons and Divox and Sabonis, Arvidas could pass as probably as well.
Randy Allen.
Not Randy, but
Okay, sorry,
but
Jawan Oldham.
Joe Klein. No. Okay. so you know, as pass as well, and some that Dan Issel could shoot as well, you know, type thing. But there's never been one that really
Yeah.
Yeah,
had that complete game.
the step back three to beat the shot
Oh.
clock is I think set you on
Well,
another level.
his whole thing of getting
and
the
he's
ball.
just kind of, I'm going to just lazily let the catapult
That's your
this toward
ripping the
basket.
heart out of the monkey's
Yeah,
chest or
it
whatever
really-
you were
the
in
thing
Indiana
about
Jones.
the Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, he just
Yeah.
sit there and you play 23 and a half seconds of great.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a step back three. I'm going to stretch at the same time because I didn't really stretch today. Oh, yeah, I made it, by the way.
Yeah,
no
he's
problem.
You know, the other thing too is that myself included, I didn't realize Jamal Murray was this good. Now, I mean, I knew he was
Yeah.
a couple
years
years
ago, right.
But I'd
Before
watched
the
him
injury,
a good
yeah.
bit, but he really hadn't played as well during the regular season as he started playing the playoffs. And he's, you know, he and Jokic, you can make
Yeah.
the case that's the best two-man
Murray-
combination in the league.
Murray takes a lot of shots that look like that's a bad shot. That ain't going in, and he makes them anyway. But the thing that bugs me about Denver and whether they're getting the respect or not, Chris Mannix, who is a really good basketball writer, he said they're just not very entertaining. But that bothers me, not because they deserve more respect. Who cares about that? It just makes me sad as a basketball fan that the NBA hasn't done a better job of showing the nation you should watch these guys and this guy because this is beautiful basketball. And if you like basketball, we are the National Basketball Association. So people want to talk about the trades and the drama. Yeah, but we're a basketball league, and you should watch this team because they play great basketball. It makes me sad that I think a lot of fans are missing out on that and don't really even know who they
But
are.
he's a great basketball writer. I think the term he used was compelling. At least that was one of
Yeah,
the terms he
yeah.
used. Well, I mean, he's doing a disservice to his readers then if he's describing this as not compelling basketball. He is a top basketball writer. I'm not saying he should be a shill for the league, but you've got to, I mean, what is happening is undeniable. And if you're saying, oh, that's not, if that's what you come out with, this isn't very
I think
compelling.
he was talking more about the personalities. If I like, Jokic's not a compelling personality. Oh, I don't care. You watch him on the
doesn't
basketball
you watch-
court; it's very compelling.
Exactly. And I think
Well-
he's doing a disservice.
Well, I think, I mean, earth to Chris Mannix. I mean,
There you go.
So let me get this straight. Somehow Miami is more fun to watch?
They're compelling.
They're compelling?
Yeah, they're very compelling.
Miami is more fun to watch than
LeBron's
Denver?
compelling. He's not playing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, they got the two best two-man combination in the league. They play five-man basketball.
Yes.
They move the ball. Everybody's
Yeah.
involved. They're well coached. They've got a bench that's a productive, very slim one, but it's very productive. And they play at a fast pace.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, you're a damned idiot.
Yeah, and you talked about Murray. I mean, Murray's a very compelling story. A couple years
Yeah.
ago, great injury. He's
Yeah.
got a lot of Jimmy Butler in him too. I think as
Yeah.
far as playoff Jimmy Butler, because he takes those shots like you talk about, and he fully expects they're going in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, I'm going to just take it's not a Jokic step back. Although he probably believes in that too. He totally believes in what he's doing, and he totally believes he's the guy to do it. And I see a lot of Jimmy Butler in him in the playoffs.
Okay, before we go here, we got to wait until, of course, we still are wrapping up the East as we are talking here, but we got to wait till Thursday for the finals to start. So give me, if you would, one YouTube video or basketball movie that you'd recommend people
geez.
watch
Come on,
to help
hey.
get through this gap where there's not going to be any basketball. Because if there's a Game 7, it'll be Monday, and then the finals don't start till Thursday.
Okay, well, I have two things. Number one is we talked about the Kings. There's been a little bit of a narrative about not having the beam come back next year. Talking about, we did it for 1 year. We're not going to bring it back. I am so totally against that. The beam has to live on, doesn't it, Jer?
The beam has to
and
live
I've seen
on.
that in more than one place, not just one guy.
It's kind of silly.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I
It's
don't-
like
I
at
don't
Wrigley
see-
Field when the Cubs
Yeah.
win, they fly
They
the
don't-
flag.
they don't
In
stop.
Anaheim Stadium, when
Yeah.
they win, they light the halo.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just do
I mean,
it.
you got to have the beam. Now, I would make one suggestion,
Oh, here we go.
and
It's a good one.
It'll be a good one. They should have a selected fan.
Designated,
Light the beam.
designated
Yeah.
before
Designated
the game.
before the
Oh,
game if the team wins.
Section 108.
It's a great idea.
Row J,
Yeah,
C4.
Because I mean,
Fantastic.
yeah, there you go. I mean,
Fantastic.
that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's
what I
great.
do.
Well, I just want to come out on record. The beam has to stay.
The beam has
We
to
finally
stay.
came up with a good bit. You got to stick
Yeah.
with
My
the
buddy
bit.
Chris Watkins at Sacktown Sports says, hey, if you keep having players slam that, somebody's going to get hurt, and you don't want that. It's actually a good point.
That's
But
true.
the
If
fans,
Anthony Davis was on the Kings, he would definitely fracture
Yeah,
his
they'd be
hand
out
doing
oh,
that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Out 2
And
weeks.
as far as a YouTube video, I don't
Or
know.
a movie, whatever. Yeah.
Well, no, because we talked
Documentary.
We're talking about it a little bit. I mean, we're talking about the Nuggets, and I want to go back in Nuggets and get the YouTube, get a compilation of David Thompson, and just watch some David Thompson.
Do you know if there
highlights.
is such a thing? There probably is.
I just spoken into being.
All
There
right.
has to be a thing.
Okay.
David Thompson, one of the most spectacular athletes ever to play basketball, and a Nugget great.
Yeah, well, he's a Nugget great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I can't say other than Hoosiers is a movie that I really truly liked, and that doesn't fit the NBA.
That's fine. It's
NBA
basketball.
but today,
here's-
yeah.
But what I would do, if you really need a little pick me up for basketball, go on YouTube and get the Jason Williams highlight.
Yes.
There you go.
And,
Yes.
and I only watched it about 4,350 times,
Mhm.
and still each time it's like
Yeah.
yep, that's one of the reasons I really like basketball.
Yeah.
That
Is
guy,
he compelling, Jer? Is he a
Oh.
compelling figure?
he is now. Unless he was on the Nuggets, then he wouldn't be compelling.
No, then I would take the compelling right out of Jason Williams.
Yeah.
Come on, that's how bad they are.
I would say, and I know you've seen it a million times, and I don't know if you've seen it. I was a Magic guy. I wasn't a big Celtic guy, but the video, what is the title? It's like Larry Bird's greatest trash talking stories as told by NBA
boy.
stars. It's unbelievable, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
It's
it
just jaw-dropping stuff, and I would recommend that. It's not quite the title, but it's something like that. Larry Bird's best trash talking stories as told by NBA legends or stars. It's great. Have you seen it?
I've read some of the stories. I have not seen the
Yeah.
compilation.
I've seen it.
Two
and
thumbs
I've
up, huh?
actually lived it.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a couple of them to you, right? Yeah.
He even did it when he wasn't coaching. He was a GM, or no, he was coaching, and I wasn't coaching. But I always remember standing in the entryway for the players to come out, and each players that came out and said, "Hey, Reggie." He says they're going to kick your ass pretty easy tonight. And then Dale Davis said, I can't believe, Jerry doesn't think you really should be a starter in the league and stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, God, I'm just the blood just leaving my face.
Yeah,
Because
no
I
truth
know.
to any of it, right?
Yeah. Huh?
It wasn't true.
No,
was it?
No. No, they were like a 60-win team.
Yeah.
I pretty well expected they were going to kick our butts, but
Well, why'd you say all that stuff then?
That's a good
Come on,
question.
Jer.
We need to do a
Yeah.
YouTube video
Yeah.
of our
Maybe
own
next
here.
episode's about you and the mistakes you made.
big boy hurt me. Man.
Yeah. All right. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time on the Old Fashioned 3.
Thank you for joining the Old Fashioned 3 on Stones Radio Networks. To stay updated on the show, like and subscribe on YouTube, and all shows are available for download on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and of course at stonesradionetworks.com. Follow the show and the gents on Twitter at OL, Fashioned, and the number 3, at Phantom Radio 60, and at Whitey Gleason. This has been a production of Stones Radio Networks.